Here you go, more negative waves. Have a little faith, baby. Have a little faith.
Okay, I'm having some faith. Okay, I'm going to roll the intro and welcome to another episode of It Could Have Been a Classic. Okay, right? No more negative waves.
Definitely an antisocial type. That's my other dog imitation.
Hello and welcome to another episode of It Could Have Been a Classic. And this week, this film is very special to me. For me, it's the best film ever made. We're going to be talking about Kelly's Heroes, 1970 American war film directed by Brian G. Hutton about a group of World War II American soldiers who go AWOL to rob a bank, starring Clint Eastwood, Telly Savalas, the legendary Don Rickles, Carol O'Connor, Gavin Sutherland, Donald Sutherland, Harry Dean Stanton, Gavin MacLeod, and Stuart Margolin. Is it Margolin? All right, I've been researching this film, which has been very interesting. So we know the plot. They go rob a bank 30 miles behind enemy lines. But what's so good about this film is the characters. You know, it's just Donald Sutherland nails this film totally for me. This film has everything you want in a movie. It's comedy, it's action, there's bonding going on. The characters in it, you know, it's just amazing. I love General Colt. You know, Booker, you know, the ionosphere and this insane general is just awesome. You know, but I watched this recently and the soundtrack is just amazing on this film. And there is some history with this film, which I've dug into. So let's get into Kelly's Heroes. So, the pre-production story behind the film. The screenplay was written by British film and television writer Troy Kennedy. He relied on a true story featured as the greatest robbery on record in the Guinness Book of Records from 1956 to 2000. On 4th of December 1968, Elliot Morgan, head of MGM's research, wrote to the Guinness Book of Records requesting information on this entry. The greatest robbery on record was of the German National Gold Reserve in Bavaria by a combine of US military personnel and German civilians in 1945. On the 10th of December, editor Norris McWhirter wrote back stating that he had very little information and that he essentially suspected that had been a cover-up which required that the story should be subject to a restricted classification. He closed by suggesting that until security classification was changed due to the death of any time, any film made will have to be an historical romance rather than history. In 1975, British researcher Ian Say began a 9-year investigation into the Guinness entry. The results of his investigation, which confirmed a cover-up by the US government, together with the involvement of the US military and the former Wehrmacht and SS officers in the theft, were published in 1984 book Nazi Gold, the sensational story of the world's greatest robbery and the world's greatest cover-up. Now, this is on Wikipedia, and I've only just read some of it. So the film is, I've heard this for years, and I remember reading about it years ago, that there were 2 bars of gold found or something. It says here, Nazi gold. But check out Wikipedia page. It's quite fascinating. I have posted the letter. It will come up after this sort of bit where I'm talking. So the film is based on something. I would love to know the actual story, because it's still covered up apparently. But this bank robbery did during the war. That's the amazing thing about Kelly's Heroes, that you've got these guys that have been on the front line for quite a long time. They're tired, and you know, they stick together like family. And Kelly, I mean, the film starts with Colonel Dankhopf. And they kidnap him, and there's a scene where he stands up and he says, under the Geneva Convention, and Big Joe says to him, sit down. And he says, where's the hotels? And the Germans, so like, what? Yeah, but yeah, you after military information? No, we want to know where the hotels are, the brothels, and what are the broads like, you know? And then suddenly Kelly, like, he sees the gold bars under lead, and then they're getting pissed, and then it begins. And it's the beauty of this film, when they first see a bar of gold, the greed on the faces, like with Mulligan, when Mulligan's freaking out, he's the guy in charge of the mortars, the sheer greed on the faces. And then we get to meet Crap Game, who's he's like the greedy one, he runs the stores, and he gets all this information, and he tells them about the bank and all these millions of dollars worth of gold. And Oddball appears, and Donald Sutherland is so out of place in this movie, but he just nails it wonderfully. And then it begins, and then we go to General Colt, where he can't have his aerial photographs at area, and Oddball's got them. You know, it's just a marvelous beginning of the film. It just doesn't stop. Honestly, I've watched this film, must have seen it over 500 times in my lifetime so far, and every time I watch it, you never get bored of this movie. It's such a pleasure to watch, you know. And then we get into a film, and we start going through, and then we do get moments where they're in the minefield, until one of the soldiers gets killed. It's quite shocking. And then the Germans turn up, and there's a shootout. And it's quite sad, because Big Joe's like, he's got this sense of only cares about his men. He's a strategic genius, but it's about getting them to Berlin and surviving, just getting them through the war. But now it's different. They're a private organization crossing the border, the lines, and causing chaos everywhere. Then you've got Oddball in the Shermans, playing music. Oh, and he said, we fire paint and it makes pretty pictures. And it freaks the crowds out. I mean, you couldn't ask for any better on this film. You really couldn't. It's a bloke film. You get some mates round and you have a great night with this movie. Do you know what I mean? Kelly's Heroes is a classic. I mean, he got the title the minute the music came on. But the soundtrack is awesome to this film. And we go through like the whole journey of where they're crossing enemy lines. But behind them is like Oddball's like phones up the grave diggers and the band. And he brings like this army of bridge builders right across 30 miles behind enemy lines. And then you get General Colt, who just doesn't know what the hell is going on. Like suddenly there's this great scene when he's on the radio and they're all like, Crap Game, Oddball, Kelly, we need 5 hours to build the bridge. And like suddenly it's like, you know, the grave diggers register. And like the general's like, go, 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 you know, really freaking out. I just love this film. Even the goddamn grave diggers are in there, and he's telling all these other officers, "You're meant to be the guys that are going to win the war."
So what do we do?
Go, team, go, go!
You've got bridging equipment. Over.
That's a 5-hour operation. Can you hold on for 5 hours? Over! No, move! Oh, no, move!
Bellamy, we're not going to hold on for 5 minutes. Now you can catch up.
Kelly, we're all in this together. You can't do it alone. Over!
Look, we're not going to wait 5 hours either. You can't keep up, that's your problem. Now we're pulling out, and we're pushing forward. Over.
Attack, attack, attack! That's the kind of fighting spirit that I was talking about. Listen to that guy. If he was a major, he's a colonel now.
listen. This is the Gravediggers Registration Unit. We got a stake in this advance, too, you know.
Did you ever hear enthusiasm like that in all your life? They even got the damn Gravediggers in there. What the hell am I doing here?
So they get to the town. You know, the general's freaking out, mobilizes the entire American army. They crouch the Germans, don't know what the fuck is going on. And like Kelly and the gang, they take the town, big shootout with the Germans and all that. Take out this, and Oddball finds out there's Tiger tanks there, really freaks out over it. Do you know what I mean? And it's just some hilarious scenes with Oddball, you know, taking in the cheese and the wine and feeling the good vibrations. But then it all culminates in the big build up to, you know, the film, like in the film, you know, the Clint Eastwood walk of, you know, like the good, the bad, and the ugly, and all the others, for a few dollars more. You know when you know that walk when he does the walk. This is legendary. It is Donald Sutherland, Clint, and Telly Savalas together doing the Clint walk. So like we get the same actor also. He's always played Germans in every movie I've ever seen this dude in. The guy in the Tiger tank, he's always a German. Oh, he probably is German, but every war film I've seen, he's in it as the primary German. Do you know what I mean? There's another one as well. I forgot his name. I think he's British, but they've always got him as a German officer. You know, it's like you get, as an actor, you get stereotypes. You know, so like Crap Game says, make a deal, you know, and they make a deal with the Germans and they blow the bank, and suddenly you get this intense scene. Has it all been worth it? You know, and they walk into the bank, the Germans there, Oddball, Big Joe, the rest of the gang, Clint, and there's this like big mound of boxes covered up with a tarpaulin, tears it off, and you get this beautiful scene because they're all what they've been through, like Oddball and his, you know, this big party of mates, you know, like Fez and Negative Wave. And the greed on the faces, the desperation. And Clint, they're all looking at him like, yo, you know, you got us into this. And he picks up the first box and he just drops it. And the gold's there. Do you know what I mean? The gold is there, and their faces and the expressions, you know, absolutely beautiful. And then we get a great ending. The oddball bites the tank, and basically, all the French people are outside, you know, celebrating, and there's some big Joe tells them all De Gaulle's coming. Oddball bites the German tank. Negative Wave is complaining, and they go off at the end. And Captain Maitland, who's the leader of their squad, whose uncle is the general, he's just an idiot. He turns up, and I think he's figured it out when he walks into the bank, but it's a great shot. And the Mike Curb Orchestra music kicks in, and it's what an ending. Just beautiful. Now in Kelly's Heroes, before we go, I will put the ending clip up. But I was going to put a lot of oddball clips up, but I don't like, you know, because it's about all of them. I know Oddball's the main star in this, but, you know, you've got to include the other characters like Dabra and Colonel Dankhopf and General Colt, you know. But originally, Ingrid Pitt was going to be in the film. And Grotowski, one of the characters in the book, I've read the book as well. Grotowski, I think Clint kills him. But in the film, there's going to be a showdown between him and Grotowski, but they dropped all that because Big Joe and Oddball take Clint's side. And there is 20 minutes of footage to this film, which nobody's seen. They're being released as stills. But Clint Eastwood was quite upset when they took that 20 minutes out. Now, I wish they would bring a version of this movie out with that extra 20 minutes, you know, all edited in. I would love to see that. Hashtag Kelly's Heroes, the missing 20 minutes would be amazing. Now, watching this film has just been an amazing experience. It's one of the best films ever. Now, today, with like how things are, people don't approve of this and don't approve of that. This is one of these things. This film is marvelous and it can never be touched. It is. You know, I know times have moved on and all that, but this film is a gem. It's a true diamond in the crown. You're not going to get them like this anymore. You know, could it have been a classic? Oh, bollocks to that. This is a damn classic. You know, Kelly's Heroes, you didn't even have to walk through the door. Welcome to the hall of it. Could have been a classic. Now, you're going to be saying, do I only cover science fiction? Not on Could Have Been a Classic. Now, on Martin Sci-Fi Pill, I do. But on Could Have Been a Classic, I'm open to covering anything that's, you know, that's got something. And this film has it all. And for me personally, this is the greatest film ever made. For me, it's my all-time favorite movie. And it's been such a pleasure to do this film. So, guys, please give this channel a subscribe. Please give this video a like and a share. The likes do help. And I'll see you on the next episode of It Could Have Been a Classic. Stay safe.
Definitely an antisocial type. That's my other dog imitation.
How things going with the bank?
Nothing. The Sherman's broken down and nobody's gonna move that tiger out of the square.
Gonna make a deal.
What kind of a deal?
A deal. Maybe the guy's a Republican. Business is business.